Hey everyone, welcome back to another Hebrew lesson. We're back into learning a new letter and a new word. Last week we took a break and we did a little bit of review, so check out that video. But here we are with our sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. This is the Vav. See right here, Vav. It makes a V noise like our English letter V. But that is the modern pronunciation. Some people who read ancient Hebrew pronounce it wow with a W noise, wow, because that's how we know that they pronounced it way back in the day when they wrote the Bible. But I learned Vav, so that's how I pronounce it. The main thing you need to know about Vav is that Vav, whenever you see it, it almost always means one particular thing. It's used to mean our English word and. See? When you see V but before a word, it means and. This happens all the time in the Hebrew Bible. You see V before tons of words on every single page. It's very common. And that's what the Vav's main job is in the Hebrew Bible. It means and. And something interesting is when you see it like this, Vahi, this is a common phrase that you see kick off a new part of a story. This is used in narrative, especially in like Genesis, which is one of my favorite books. When we're in narrative, they'll use Vahi to kick off a new piece of the narrative. It kind of moves forward in time and starts a new place. So I'm going to head over to the desk and we're going to read an example of Vahi and how it kicks off a new piece of narrative and what that means for us as we're reading the text. So don't forget, Vav, V before a word, means and. So there's Vav, and V attached to the front of a word means and. We see it all the time in the Hebrew Bible. And an interesting word is Vahi. And we see this in narrative. For example, I'm looking at Genesis 39, verse 5, where Joseph has just been taken and sold as a slave to Egypt. And it says, Vahi, and it came to pass that Joseph became the overseer of Potiphar's house. So it kind of denotes that some time has passed and we're moving on to a new part of the story. Did you know that Hebrew, the way that it's written changes depending on what kind of text you're reading? If you're reading narrative, it will be written one way. If you're reading poetry, it's written another way. It's very interesting that Hebrew loves to write and read in different ways depending on if we're in narrative or poetry or prophecy or different things like that. So here in narrative, we use Vahi to denote that some time has passed, we're on to a new part of the story where now Joseph is overseeing Potiphar's house. It's kind of like in a movie when they do a sweep onto a new scene. We're doing a sweep into a new part of the story by saying Vahi, and it happened, or and it was, or and it came to pass. That's how they translate it. And some Bibles don't even translate it. They just jump into the next part of the story. But it's interesting for us when we read Hebrew, we learn that the author puts a mark where they're starting a new piece of the story, some time has passed, and now they're ready to tell a new part. So there you go, there's Vav, V means and Vahi means and it happened, and it came to be. So there you go, a little bit of grammar lesson so you can read Hebrew narrative better. And I hope you enjoyed.